is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome back to Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate all of y'all for rolling through tonight. No matter how you may be joining, whether that's 94.1 on your FM dial, you happen to be listening online via our AA Best Bail Bonds audio player at sasportstar.com, or if you happen to be watching us live on YouTube. That is right. We stream all of our shows live via YouTube. Just go there, search SA Sports Star. Go ahead, like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show as it happens. Nothing but great times on the YouTube channel. Great community there. And of course, I will interact with you. Or if you want to just call in the old-fashioned way, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776 if you want to be a part of the conversation. Spurs 1980 telling me happy birthday on YouTube. I appreciate all the birthday wishes today. My heart is full. So many nice things said, and I appreciate each and every one of y'all for taking time out of your day to go ahead and wish me a happy birthday. It's been incredible. It's been going very, 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 very well. And hopefully when I get done here tonight, it will continue to go very, very well for me. As if y'all know me, likely I am going to be Rupub Angry Elephant from now until Saturday night. I took off Friday, so I won't be here. No show on Friday, but I will be here tonight. I will be here tomorrow, and there's nothing else preempting me for a while now that the national championship game is over. So there is a ton to get into in sports. And the main thing is yesterday with the news and no show because of the Rangers starting at 6 being in Chicago, Michael Malone just blown out along with the general manager up there in Denver. And it's very weird what's going on up there with the Nuggets. But now you've got two potential head coaching candidates in Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone, along with whatever other list you want to come up with. But those are two names near or at the top of any list if you're talking about a potential if the Spurs have to or are moving on from Greg Popovich this offseason. And I think it helps, or it doesn't help, but it definitely at least makes you expedite decisions a lot faster as we're nearing the end of the season with candidates like that will be highly sought after available. And earlier this morning on the Morning Huddle, Rob and AJ were reacting to the future of the San Antonio Spurs and their head coach and if Mike Malone is a fit.
The big discussion, I think, this offseason is going to be about the future of the coaching in San Antonio. And Greg Popovich says, when I'm healthy enough to come back, I'm going to come back. I don't know that Greg Popovich will ever be healthy enough to come back.
He's not going to come back. They've dropped enough breadcrumbs. I can't imagine a scenario where we have Greg Popovich as anything more than a part-time presence with the San Antonio Spurs.
And I can't imagine a situation where we go into next season and Mitch is the head coach.
I can't. We have things that need to be taken care of. The clock is ticking for Wemby. The clock is ticking for Wemby.
Do you think that Michael Malone's a viable candidate?
I think any head coach that has won a world championship is a viable candidate. Yes.
Even Frank Vogel?
Even Frank Vogel. I think any coach, even in the weirdest of circumstances, that can take a team to a title. I'm not saying that either one is.
Mike Brown
should be considered. Mike Brown hadn't won a title.
Mike Brown hasn't won a title?
Not as a head coach. He's
Okay.
assisted on a couple. He's been around. He was head coach at Cleveland when the
Okay, you're right.
Spurs
You're right.
took his pants off and showed him to everybody. But I think you don't fall ass backwards into a world championship. You bring something to the table. Now, some of it might be just letting LeBron call everything, but you are bringing something to the table. Malone has a presence. Malone helped to build that team. Malone has a plan. He does things the Malone way, which I don't know what happened in Denver, but I do know that it worked. And yes, he should be a candidate. You'd be crazy if you don't interview him. Why would you not?
Doc Rivers.
Doc's a different, but Doc's come and gone. That ship has sailed.
You'll pass on that one.
But even Doc, if he wanted to come interview, he deserves that.
Okay.
Because you don't just win a championship. And I think Doc's time has come and gone. But even Milwaukee, even after all that, they're still here. They're pretty damn competitive. So Doc's still a pretty decent coach. I'm not going to throw him out with the bathwater, but his time's passed.
Okay. I'm with you. Anybody, a guy who won a ring 2 years ago, certainly got to be in the discussion. And a guy has experience working with a unique big man.
There you go. And he has experience working with a superstar. And that is probably the most difficult thing to do in professional sports.
Is there a world where Pop holds it up because he says, I don't want to leave?
Well, yeah. I don't think he would ever intentionally stand in the way of progress. And I would hope that his arrogance to success, the arrogance that brought him to being the greatest team coach in my lifetime, I would like to think that it will drive him to the point where you have to seriously wait to make the decision. But because that's what made Pop great. But sometimes you just got to make the decision.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how that plays out, because often, like, maybe I imagine the Spurs feel probably the same way we do, that, okay, we're going to have a coaching search this offseason. Greg Popovich might be sitting at home going,
what are you talking about?
I'll be back. Don't worry.
And I want him to work like that. We all do, but the moment you start talking about him in the second, you almost need to rip this Band-Aid off.
Yeah.
Just let him know, or let him, or have him tell us I can't, or I won't, or I shouldn't, whatever the case may be.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens with the Spurs. I'm interested in that as much as I am. What are the Nuggets going to do? There's another team out there who needs a head coach,
and that's a good gig. That's a good gig to get.
How much longer is Joker under contract?
As well, that might be shorter than longer.
That's how long it's a good gig for.
That's why I can't imagine, in the grand scheme of things, that Joker got a call yesterday.
I can't either.
By the way, before you head off to practice, we just fired coach. I don't believe that.
Apparently if the team so this is wild. It says the Nuggets stunned the NBA on Tuesday afternoon when they abruptly fired Michael Malone and Calvin Booth. Now all eyes are on the future of superstar center Nikola Jokic, and if the team decides to move on from him as well.
Well, that's absolute nuts. That's not going to happen.
I wouldn't think so.
Oh, I mean, if Dallas hadn't happened, I think it could happen. But since it has happened and everybody has witnessed the utter cataclysmic Chernobyl meltdown that Dallas became, one bad move begat 5 other bad luck moves that they had no control over, but they plucked the 4-leaf clover. They killed the rabbit. They brought the bad luck on themselves. You did it to yourselves. I think that because they made the move and they got their guy hurt and now the fans aren't showing up and all that mess, there's not another team ever going to do this.
This
ever.
Is year 2 of a 5-year, $276 million contract. The 5th year is a player option, so if Joker wants to leave then, he'd be free to go.
Well, if Joker wanted to leave in May, he could get out. Players always get out.
Well, Bovada has the odds for the next team for Nikola Jokic. And the second and third favorite will tell you a lot about the mindset of Nikola Jokic.
Well, or at least what we believe his mindset
yes.
is. Because if there was any star that could land in Sacramento or Memphis and not give a damn and be perfectly happy, it would be Joker.
The favorites at 5-1 are the LA Lakers.
Which, of course.
The second favorite at 6-1, KK Mega Basket.
This going home.
Going home.
It
Picking up your
wouldn't-
ball and going home.
Dude,
Third
like
favorite.
I said, it would not shock me if he went home.
Third
No.
favorite, 8-1, KK Joker. Like,
Just-
I mean,
I'm going to just sail off into the sunset. I'll see you when I see you.
yeah, I'm going back to my farm.
Of all the dudes that all of this would make sense, where literally he didn't know, and he just said, all right, I'll be at work, I'll be on time. It would be him. But I'm leaving as soon as our last game's over. I'll tell you that.
Parade?
Parade? No, no parade.
I don't want parade.
So maybe they didn't clear it with him. It was his brothers they called, because those are the guys you got to worry about.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I'm interested to see what happens now. If I can't imagine the Nuggets want a fresh start without Joker.
That just is, I guess, because it has happened now, it always has to be part of the
The
conversation.
discussion now,
Because
right?
it could.
I mean, imagine trading Luka.
I'd still, even now, that seems like a fever dream. The Mavericks traded Luka. Are you serious? That wasn't a dream. I still feel like that'll never happen again, just because the fallout from that has to be every owner's nightmare. Because when you do that, then you start walking this fine line of, well, if this happens and this happens, then suddenly Kyrie's knee is blown, and not only is this year done, next year's done.
Yeah.
Everything cascaded into utter chaos. And it wouldn't have happened but for this move. And it set you back 2 years, probably. I don't think another team will ever do that again.
I mean, if they do, it's got to be more of a haul than what the Lakers.
It'll
do,
never
or than
be
what
for
the,
this kind of immediate, kind of short-term help with some distant draft picks. No, it better
No.
be immediate and now kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's something to watch with Jokic over the next couple weeks as well.
If you're a Nugget fan, what are you feeling today?
A little frustration, probably a little confusion. But again, maybe I don't know what Nugget expectation is, because maybe they're like, we should be better than this. No, he should be fired. He lost 4 games in a row.
I agree. There might be something of an undercurrent in the Denver populace that kind of goes like when the Aggies lost Buzz. You go, kind of sucks, but there's other guys look like him.
Look, I don't think you're stoked if you're a fan about losing a guy like Michael Malone, and it totally does depend on the Nikola Jokic, how he feels about what just happened. Because if you're blowing up everything, including Jokic, whoa, that's a fan base that's not going to take it well. I don't know if it's going to be as bad as how Mavericks fans have taken it, but I don't know why you wouldn't at least entertain the offer to a Michael Malone if you're the San Antonio Spurs or a Taylor Jenkins, because there's a lot of people within this Spurs organization. At some point, you have to have an uncomfortable conversation when it comes to what the future is going to be. And love Greg Popovich. He's earned the right to go out on his own terms. Very seldomly does a coach get to go out on his own terms, no matter how revered he is, whether it is a Bill Belichick in New England or a Jim Boeheim in Syracuse. Very, very seldomly do you get a Coach K that gets to walk off on his own accord the way that he wants to. And you may have to have an uncomfortable conversation with yourself. Look, Pop is still going to be a part of the organization. He is still the president of SS&E. He is still going to have a lot of say. But maybe it's time to start thinking about life after Pop. If you're the organization, maybe your hand has been forced to think about it. And now you have to have that real conversation with yourself and sit down with Pop and be like, look, I know, but it is in the best interest of this organization that you remain a part of this team and this organization, but we have a new direction at the helm. And maybe it's not even somebody from the Pop tree. I really don't know what the answer or the future of this organization is going to look like, but I do know that it needs to look vastly, vastly different moving forward. because you are now on the Victor Wembanyama timeline, and Greg Popovich does not match that timeline anymore. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. I am James Pledger right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Appreciate everybody for rolling through tonight. We have a lot to get to, including some drama in the UFL. That is right. The San Antonio Brahmas, you heard it at my Sports Center at the top of the hour, they have lost offensive coordinator Jay Smith. He has stepped down. Why? And who is replacing him? Well, Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips joined the Blitz a little bit earlier. We'll bring you a part of that as we continue here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
A lot of people argue that the best breed of dog is a lineage called the Rescue. They're right. That's why we're asking San Antonio Sports Star listeners to help no-kill rescue agencies around San Antonio with food that these pups need. They're all good dogs. They just need a chance. The voice of the National Dog Show, John O'Hurley, will join the Sports Star guys all day Friday, April 11th for the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, sponsored by Thomas J. Henry, the Institute for Functional Health, Big State Financial, G2 Shoes, Quarter Moon Plumbing, Heat and AC, Ponderosa Ranch, Mr. W Fireworks, and Fifi and Fido's Pet Boutique. So lend a helping paw during the 2025 Puppy Food Bank Radiothon, Friday, April 11th, with 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Look, there's feelings, and then there's the facts. If you're feeling like your finance team is bogged down in mundane manual tasks, the fact is, you need Ramp. Ramp is the corporate card that makes the expense process fast and easy. The moment your team makes a purchase, Ramp handles everything. Receipt collection and approvals, the works. With Ramp, you can cut your month-end close from 5 days to 1, customize approval workflows, and get complete control over every transaction. Facts. Over 25,000 businesses trust Ramp, including Shopify and the Boys and Girls Club of America, which is why they were just named #1 in spend management by G2. Facts. Start using Ramp and you'll have more time to spend scaling your business. And that'll feel really good. Upgrade to Ramp for free today and get $250 at ramp.com/radio. Ramp.com/radio. That's ramp.com/radio.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank, members of FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-895-1414. That's 800-895-1414. 800-895-1414.
Texting privacy policy and terms and conditions posted at textplan.us. Texting enrolls for recurring automated text marketing messages. Message and data rates may apply. Reply stop, opt out. Consult a doctor prior to use.
Wow, you look amazing. What have you been doing?
I'm sure you've heard of Ozempic, Wegovy, and the other GLP-1 medications, right? Well, I found this great company called Zelfie. If you qualify, their providers can prescribe medications like Ozempic and Wegovy and other GLP-1 medications that are 80 to 90% less expensive, all 100% online.
I can get GLP-1 medications for 80 to 90% less and do it all online? No doctor's office or pharmacy?
Yes, Zelfie can provide semaglutide or tirzepatide, the active ingredients in Ozempic and other expensive GLP-1s, but for 80 to 90% less and shipped directly to your door.
How do I get started with Zelfie?
Just send them a text.
Text TYPE to 200-300 to get started today with Zelfie. Get the same active ingredients in Wegovy or Ozempic, but for 80 to 90% less and 100% online. Don't wait. Text TYPE to 200-300 right now for a link to your exclusive offer. Text TYPE to 200-300. That's TYPE to 200-300. TYPE to 200-300.
Listen up, fellow Gen Xers. Elizabeth Banks here. The recommended age for pneumococcal pneumonia vaccination has been lowered to 50 and older, even if you're healthy. It's up to us to lead the way. We've done this before. Music videos, fanny packs, even the World Wide Web. Let's do it again and get vaccinated because we're at over 6 times greater risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Gen X, this is our shot. Visit vaxassist.com and schedule a vaccine today. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Quarterback Jordan Love isn't just on Green Bay's team. He's also on the American Family Insurance team. Because like us, he believes in dreaming fearlessly.
Just chase your dreams and don't let nobody hold you back.
And we help protect those dreams with the right coverage so you can
dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
It's Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio's Sports Star.
All the birthday wishes in the chat. Billy Dial is asking, he really wants to know if the Texans should go wide receiver O-line in the first round. Best player. Like, if it's Emeka Ibuka, cool. If it's Gray Zabel, cool. Like, whoever they feel best identifies the mentality that they are looking for. And as a Texans fan, which I assume you probably are, there is they talk about a swarm mentality. Defense embodies that. Will Anderson embodies that. They have a bunch of people that embody a swarm mentality on that defense. Their newest acquisition, CJ Gardner-Johnson, he embodies it. They don't really have that on offense outside of like maybe CJ and Nico. There aren't those guys that you just feel are in it, especially on the offensive line. Laramie Tunsil definitely wasn't swarmy. Find one of those guys. Find a couple of those guys in the draft, in the first and second round. Offense, offensive line, wide receiver, wherever it may be. Find those guys. Add those guys to the team. Add those guys into that. The swarm is on the D, but they need that on O2. And that's something that they're sorely, sorely lacking. Speaking of the Texans, former Houston Texans defensive coordinator Wade Phillips, well, his San Antonio Brahmas are 0-2, and they are in the midst of looking for a new offensive coordinator, or at least appointing one, because they have lost theirs earlier today. Well, Wade Phillips joined the Blitz for Wednesdays with Wade, and he actually talked with the guys about why AJ Smith was stepping down as the offensive coordinator and who would be taking over the offense for the San Antonio Brahmas coming up.
Coach, offense is struggling, and today you've made a change at offensive coordinator. Can you take us through the decision-making process?
Yeah, well, I didn't make the decision myself. AJ Smith came in and said he wanted to move on. And for personal reasons, and so that's where it left us. So we had to make some quick changes and get ready for today's practice and so forth. So it basically his decision, or it was his decision.
So, Coach, who is going to be the play caller from now on? Have you made that decision yet?
Yeah, Peyton Pardee is going to take over the OC, and Jesse Thompson, our running back coach, will take the special teams. Both of them have been in those areas before. So, of course, Peyton, coaches the wide receivers, which is obviously a big part of the passing game.
You know, the connections with the Oilers and Jack Pardee and seeing Peyton get that is pretty cool. Back to AJ, because I saw some tweets, so I'm glad you clarified his decision or for personal reasons. Were you surprised by that, or with the way the offense has struggled to this point?
No, I was surprised. I mean, we've been together for 3 years. We've been in the playoffs every year. We won the XFL championship. I mean, he's done some good things for us, certainly. And I tried to talk him out of it, but I couldn't. So he just felt like that's what he needed to do in his life, and I couldn't change his mind.
Wow. Well, Coach, when you look at the offense, obviously it has been struggling a little bit in these first two ball games. Will there be much of a change with Coach Pardee?
I think some. I mean, we have some positives in the offense. I mean, especially the running game. We're third in the league in rushing and 5.6 per rush. So, that hopefully that won't change. But yeah, obviously our whole staff, which has been together, but our whole staff offensively is getting together, and they had to do it quickly this morning because we had to basically change practice. For this afternoon's practice. And we had a good practice. So our players, people adjust. Our players are adjusting. Our coaches are adjusting, and it's. I don't think it's ever a positive, but it's. It's something that he moved on, so we got to move on.
Wade Phillips joining us here on the Blitz, head coach of the San Antonio Brahmas. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. And we're going to bring in Cody Latimer as a coach of wide receivers and tight ends for us. Cody played for us, obviously, and was all league. And I got a bad knee injury, but he wanted to go into coaching, and I think he'll be a really asset for us. And plus, he was a leader on our team last year anyway. So I think I know it's a good hire for us.
Good deal. Coach, when you think about 18 points in 2 games offensively, a change in OC by his choice, but do other changes need to happen? I mean, Kellen looks okay, but is there issues in the offensive line or receivers running routes, or, how do you, when you're going through the film, trying to figure out why this offense hasn't clicked the way it was expected to?
Yeah, I mean, it's more the passing game. Obviously, like I said, we're able to run the football, but we've been behind. So actually, our running game would have been a lot better for in the game, but we had to go completely passing. Which, we've got to play a closer game where we can have the option to run or pass. But I think, I mean, we had a good practice today, and guys bought into what we're doing. You can't completely change everything, but I thought a lot of things that we did differently look good in practice.
Well, obviously, when you make a change or the coach himself made the change and you explain that to the players, I would imagine there's a little bit of shock with them too. And how did they handle the news, Coach? You said you had a good practice, which is a good thing, but was there a little bit of shock and awe for those guys?
Well, to a certain extent, but I mean, it's all of us. I mean, obviously we didn't know what was going to happen. It came up really this morning, and I thought everybody, just picked it up and went forward and moved on. Just like AJ moved on, we moved on pretty substantially today, I thought, as far as our execution. And we're emphasizing the attention to detail. We've been pretty good in our assignments, but we need more detail. And I thought we did that well today.
Any changes in the starting lineup offensively?
No, not really. I mean, I think all the areas. I mean, our offensive line. When you're losing, you say they didn't do well, but their blocking and stuff is really good up front, especially in the running game.
Well, we were talking about the offense, Coach. What about the defense? What do you see that needs to improve there? Obviously, first 2 games, there's been a lot of points given up.
Well, it's all a running game. Both teams have rushed over 100 yards on us, and that's something we weren't used to, and we didn't expect to happen, but it has. So our emphasis is stop the running game. And part of last week's running game, obviously, was the quarterback running for 60 yards. So and we face the same type quarterback this week. So we've got to improve quickly in that area.
You know, Coach, being the defensive genius that you've made your career as, your 59 points allowed through 2 games, do you just watch the film and shake your head and going, is it look easy is not the right word, but does it seem fixable from your seat?
Yeah, I cry a lot, but no, yeah, I mean, it's certainly disappointing. I mean, we're disappointed certainly as a team overall of what we've shown, but we have a lot of high character guys. I think that you know, they're still moving forward with the team and expect to have success and working at it. They're very hard workers and a very high character group. I think is going to keep coming on. Yeah, defensively we have a completely different front than we had last year. I mean, we had the 2 linebackers we had, but we don't have the same front we had, and it just hadn't melded together yet. So I think, we'll do a few things different certainly, but to try to help that area, help the running game, help stop the running game. So we've got to do that first.
That was San Antonio Brahmas head coach Wade Phillips, as the Brahmas 0-2 now have had their offensive coordinator had to step down amidst personal reasons, and have promoted their wide receivers coach to take over the play calling, and are basically bringing in a new wide receivers coach as Pardee takes over the reins as the offensive coordinator, in Corey Latimer, who, if you remember correctly, not only was he a receiver for the Brahmas, but coming out was a very tall receiver out of the University of Indiana. Had high hopes for him in the NFL. But it's going to be very interesting to see if they can get back on track this week as they get set to continue this road stand to open up the season. But they will definitely need your help when they finally are able to return home. And let's hope they can start turning the ship around before they get here. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure. And of course, you can catch that entire interview over at sasportstar.com via our audio vault. Also, it's on YouTube. You can see Coach Wade Phillips. I've just finished posting that. So right now, if you go to YouTube or after Extra Innings with Pleasure, you can check out Wade Phillips as he was joining the Blitz a little bit earlier today. When we come back, though, and I've been off the last couple of days, haven't really got to talk about the national championship game much. Well, it's time to break it down. When we get back here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
San Antonio Sports Star.
From a fender bender to a total loss, Davis Law Firm has a team of expert attorneys ready to get you back on the road with the verdict or settlement you deserve. Y hablamos español. Want more? Call the Fours. Davis Law Firm, San Antonio, 444-4444.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
My car is making this noise. Sometimes it's like doot doot, and sometimes it's like grrr.
Do you have a dash light on?
Oh yeah.
Then we don't have to listen for clues. With the free Fix Finder service, we can read a check engine, ABS, or maintenance light to find the likely fix and even recommend a local shop if you need one.
So you don't need to hear the grrr.
Not with Fix Finder. Free at every AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
This is a special notice to U.S. taxpayers owing $10,000 or more to the IRS. Tax Relief Advocates is urgently notifying taxpayers that tax relief initiatives are now available that may significantly reduce or eliminate what you owe. If you're afraid of an IRS lien, levy, or wage garnishment, don't lose hope. You can now take advantage of these current relief programs to end all collections, reduce the amount you owe, and resolve your tax problem. Even if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are already in a payment plan, you may still qualify for significant relief. Struggling taxpayers can now get relief they need during these hard economic times. A hotline has been established by Tax Relief Advocates for you to call and see what you qualify for. They are A+ rated with the BBB and have over 1,000 5-star reviews. Don't wait. Call 800-575-7147. 800-575-7147. That's 800-575-7147, or simply visit TRA.com.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
Thanks for calling Discover. This is Nia.
Hi, Nia. It's Jennifer. Did you know that Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Yeah, I work here.
Okay. I was just double checking. Get it?
Because Discover automatically doubles all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year?
Oh, you get me, Nia.
You could say that I double get you.
I guess we've taken it too far.
You earn, we match. Discover Cashback Match. See terms at discover.com/creditcard.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news and stats to placing bets in just a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code JOEQ to get started today. That's JOEQ, Joe Q. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
Spring is here, and in South Texas, that means storms, wind, rain, and hail. If you've been hit by a storm or think you have damage, now is the time to contact Stevens Roofing and Solar at 210-785-0994. Don't put your trust in an out-of-town storm chaser. Stevens Roofing is a family-owned, locally based company who will be here for years to come. The team at Stevens Roofing and Solar will give you peace of mind when the storms come rolling in. Call 210-785-0994 for Stevens Roofing.
The sports calendar is heating up, and with ESPN Bet Sportsbook, you can go from checking news to stats to placing bets in a couple of taps. Stream games, bet live, and get exclusive offers when you link your ESPN account. Right now, you can get $100 in bonus bets when you make your first $10 wager. Download the ESPN Bet app and sign up with promo code USL to get started today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. Offer not available in New York.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
Attention passengers, we've reached 10,000 feet and internet is now available for purchase.
I just paid hundreds for this flight, and you can't even throw in internet? I'll just take the free pretzels.
Sorry, but I do have snack boxes for sale.
I'm just gonna sleep.
In that case, we are selling pillows and blankets as well.
I'll just breathe. That's free, right?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
I had the worst dream last night. You were in a car crash, and the kids and I were on our own. We had to move out of the house because I couldn't afford it anymore.
That's awful, hon.
My brother got life insurance from Ethos, and it only took 10 minutes. And he got $2 million in coverage for around $2 a day. It's all online. No medical exam. He just answered a few health questions right from his house.
Ethos, here we come.
Visit ethos.com/sports. Ethos.com/sports.
Sample rate is a 10-year term life policy for 35-year-old.
I am still tipping on Fofos for my 44th birthday. Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate y'all running along with me tonight. And for all the birthday wishes in the chat that I've received online, all of that, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. There is a ton that we miss over the first couple days. We're out at 5 for the national championship. Then the next day we're out at 6.
And both times to be the youngest coach to ever do it. The similarities are, pretty close, not quite the same, because Florida was indeed, they were expected to be there. And you can go back to 84 or 83 in Albuquerque, which I happen to be very close to, but not there when that went down. I felt, I had picked Florida early, so it felt good to finally have this best bracket I probably had in 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never going to see this again. But I couldn't help but just be brokenhearted for Samson and everybody else. Just
it was a tough pill to swallow for those boys. You could tell. And
I do have some thoughts about the style of basketball.
Okay, because one of the big discussions yesterday was, I thought this to be true. You tell me if you felt differently. I thought that the first half was officiated completely different than the second half.
I knew, and you could feel it had gotten out of their hands, AJ, where they let some things go where you knew when they went into halftime and the powers that be, the eyes in the sky were like, dude, look at this that you're letting happen.
And it was going both ways. Florida was doing a little bit of blocking on some end runs by their bigs that they weren't allowed to do in the second half that they did get away with early. And Houston was, they were allowed to do some stuff early that they would you can't just take it away. You can't give it and then yank
that's
it
the
back.
thing. That was my thought, was
it's whiplash, and it does the game a disservice. It does your players a disservice because they don't know how to play them.
If you call it from the beginning tight, okay.
That's fine.
If you
We
call
all
it
get
loose, cool. But you cannot, the first half dictates how teams are going to play in the second half.
But a good team and a good coach should go, look, man, they're not going to let us do this. And, just like your shots will eventually fall. If you're 1 for 19, you'll regress or progress back to the mean, however it might be. So you expect that to happen, but you just felt like the refs are going to bring this back in. They're going to rail it back in because it was a rock fight for a minute. It felt like an old Big East game. It was fun. Yeah. I was not against it, but it made for some blocking and tackling that probably didn't sit well with the NCAA types that were sitting sidelines.
Especially when it was a 10-point game.
Yeah, but man, what a fight! What a good man! I'm reliving the heartbreak of that poor kid.
Rob, you could tell he was going through it, and that poor kid. Sure, yeah, but I mean, it's exactly what happened to Duke. They lost the same way that they won, and yes, it's tough. And when you hold Walter to 10 points, 14 points, and it's great defense, but they got out of their, and there's always ways and excuses to win and lose games, right? And a lot of people like to go into a show when they get up big, and it distorts the offense in some ways. And you've got to be able to get buckets late. And when you sit on a lead, you fall out of an offensive rhythm. And I'm not saying that you have to take a shot 3 seconds into the shot clock, but to completely disrupt your offense, to make sure that you're milking every second off of the shot clock as you try and wilt away a game, it almost feels like a way to lose the game because you fall out of rhythm offensively. You don't, and the fact that Sharp was the guy with the ball in his hands in the last couple of possessions that led to turnovers on both possessions in those final 2 possessions where they didn't even get a shot off, and not LJ Cryer, feels criminal. So I give Florida all the props for just being able to do it, but I also question how Houston and Sampson took their foot off the gas late in the game, tried to go to a shot clock management, milk it all the way down before you take a shot type of offense that really, really I felt disjointed them offensively, along with the officials and the way they officiated it in the second half. I mean, at one point it was 5-0 on the fouls early in the second quarter. I was like, man, this game's going to get way out of hand. Houston's going to end up in the double bonus very quickly. And next thing you know is like 10-9, and Houston's already got Florida in the double bonus. And it felt very ticky-tack in the second half. But Houston Cougars in a good place going into next year, as while we don't know about Milos Uzan yet, LJ Cryer, they're losing, but they are getting Sharp back. They are bringing Tugler back. They have both announced they're coming back, and they've got some of one of, if not the best recruiting classes in the nation. They've got Kingston Flemings, a top 20 in the ESPN 100, Isaiah Harwell, who is a number 13 in the ESPN top 100, and Chris Sinek Jr., who is the 6th overall prospect coming into next year's recruiting class. They are going to be stacked as this team comes back next year, and they are already in the ESPN way too early top 25 rankings, the number 1 team going into next season. And with a recruiting class like that, you can see absolutely why. We're going to put a bow on the show, get things together, and get you ready for a big Thursday, which will be my Friday, as I'm taking Friday off for my birthday on this special birthday edition of Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, sasportstar.com. We'll be back.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic on Monday, April 14th at the Golf Club of Texas is officially sold out. But you can still join us at the Hangar Bar and Grill on Potranco for the ultimate after party. Celebrate with cold drinks, great food, and good times. The sold-out San Antonio Sports Star Spring Golf Classic presented by Flight by Yingling and sponsored by Ensira.com and PPL Motorhomes benefits the Pan American Golf Association.
Flight by Yingling is the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
Hi, I'm Jason Thompson. I'm a personal injury attorney, and since 1994, I've been helping people and their families seriously injured or killed by negligent drivers. My website is alawyer4us.com. I use that phrase because I know that there's no way a regular San Antonian can possibly beat a billion-dollar insurance company alone. You will need an experienced attorney to stand up for you and get what you and your family deserve. This month, my father will retire after 50 years of practicing law, doing what he taught me to do, help people in need. Stand up for the people that cannot. Use the skills you have to help the people in your community win and where you can. When an insured driver seriously injures someone, a billion-dollar insurance company uses everything it can to pay as little as possible. Every insurance company you have heard of has a very large staff of attorneys already working against you. If you or a family member has been seriously injured because of a negligent driver, call me, Jason Thompson, as soon as you can after a collision. My number is 210-900-0400. That's 210-900-0400. Or check out my website, alawyer4us.com.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Michaela's Mobile Spa, Michaela. Michaela got a quick business insurance quote from Progressive and chose from over 30 customizable coverages. Sure, it helps she's her only employee and does literally everything. But while others would rest on their laurels, Michaela was hard at work saving big. So take that, hypothetical other employee who doesn't exist. Be your own Michaela. See if you could save in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverage is not available in all states or for all vehicles and coverage selections.
Bring spring to your door with Target Circle 360. Get all you need for Easter hosting, spring get-togethers, and more with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. From Easter basket goodies to fresh florals, getting everything the same day is easy. Open the Target app and bring the magic of the season to your door with unlimited same-day delivery through Target Circle 360. Visit target.com/circle or the Target app for more details. Subscription required. Same-day delivery is subject to terms. Applies to orders over $35.
Oh, by the way, Ivan's no longer on the project. His wife got a new job, so they're moving across the country.
Robin's top researcher is deviating to a new market. This isn't standard.
And now we're short-staffed. Who's going to finish all these projects?
She needs a cluster of new data analysts, and there's no margin for error.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up. Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
This is a story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocation, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Quarry area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more online at tsaog.com.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I appreciate all y'all for rolling through tonight, and I especially appreciate all the birthday wishes. Sure do know how to make a guy feel special. This was quite the scene as Luka Doncic was brought to tears in pregame with the video tribute that the Mavericks did, and just bawling his eyes out as he was the last person brought in off the bench. And I'm still flabbergasted he was even traded. You had a guy that wanted to be there, like the Spurs. That would, I can't even fathom if they were to have traded Tim Duncan or Manu Ginobili. Like,